Hi. One of the big problems we have at Ingenious behavior is actually showing how we can change behavior without actually showing the inner workings of all our clients, right? But it doesn't feel fair to go publicly and say, hey, we found this really interesting insight in this field, because they are what makes these companies great, basically. And so I wanted to find a new example, to find something that can be shared and it won't hurt anyone. Actually, it's the other way around. I hope that this can benefit someone. So I found this T-Prize organization that gives to $20,000 to start a new organization to fight problems around poverty. And they have really cool challenges. And if you're interested in any of making good with products, I will say that you should check them out. It's tprice.org. At first, I wanted to jump into some of the health issues. We do a lot of healthcare, and so some of these issues are known to me and are familiar. Then I started looking and I found this one that is quite interesting. And it's the problem that I think it's universal of how do you get government officials not to take bribes? And they are actually proposing that the best way is to report it after the fact. And I'm not so sure about that, because there might be some motivations that are not aligned there. But I really like the concept, because this is a problem that harms the poor. This is a problem that is particularly difficult to solve with no resources, because, well, if you have enough resources, you just control the officer, right? And you put a camera on each one of the officers' chests, and you make sure that these cameras are well maintained and that they cannot fail, etc. That will get you a really big drop in the bribes they're taking. The example that is easier to visualize is a traffic stop, right? You get stopped on your car and the officer gets you a ticket, basically, let's say for speeding or for not respecting a red light or whatever, right? So in the middle of that moment, you or the officer might suggest some alternative solution to the problem that is cheaper than going all through the bureaucracy of the government, right? So that's when bribes happen. So I'm going to start with the Model 2. We have someone that is getting stopped, right? We have the officer, we have the government, and I put here as a third party, right? So, and we will need to find who pays, who uses, and who controls that this product that we are going to create is being used, right? So, in terms of government, well, government wants to stop bribes, so government will pay for this. They're probably going to use it in some capacity, but that capacity probably it's a secondary option. It's not they are actively using, and they do have power of control of if this get used or not via advertising, forcing the officers to use it or whatever. In terms of the user, well, the user actually pays for the government, so actually the citizen pays for the government, so it pays for the solution. But let's keep it at one level, and that one level, would I pay for the solution not to get bribes? No, I won't pay. I'm going to use it in some way. The citizen can use it, and the citizen can decide to use it, right? And then you have the officer that will have the control of yeah, you cannot record it, and I have a gun, so you cannot record it. And they might be users of this app too, right? I'm going to just delete the passerby because let's keep it simple, right? So I already discussed that the citizen won't pay, the officer won't pay. So the funds for it should come from government. Everyone has control. Everyone can decide to use it. So if we go to the next one, we need to find actually for each one of these, we need to find what needs are we solving, right? And there are three types of needs. There are needs of not changing the status quo or maintaining my level of comfort. There are needs of relationship, and there are needs of growth. So for the government, I'm starting with the easiest. Well, if I can get more money, my existence, my status quo can be maintained. Also, I'm going to do something new, have a new program that is against bribes, and the general public will look at me as with more respect because I'm fighting bribery, right? So government should be really interested in implementing a solution with this. In terms of the officer, well, I'm getting paid for my job, right? And if I don't do my job correctly, I will get punished and I will get fired, right? So there is an existence need here, but it's not to get punished. And the same, there is a relationship need. That I want to look good to others. So if I'm a crooked cop and I get shown and I get in evidence that I'm actually asking for bribes, I might hinder my relationships, right? And in terms of the user, well, this is difficult, right? Because as a citizen, I did something wrong, and I'm going to have to pay for a fine for that. Now, how can I solve that problem? Well, and the other thing is, there might be an existence need. There might be a need for security. Each time I get an interaction with a cop, it might not result in the best way. So I might be able to solve existence needs for the citizen, right? Maintaining the status quo, keeping them safe, and probably money. So I already discussed the usual path. Let's just give a camera to every cop, right? Every police officer will have a camera on their chest, and therefore they won't ask for bribes. And now the problem here is cameras break, but also cameras break. So they forgot to turn it on. So there is no reason why I want to be controlled as an officer. Why would I make this extra step of actually getting control? Just get the user to have the camera, to control that encounter. Okay? So if I can pay the user in some way to control that encounter, I can solve for this bribery issue. My objective will be for the citizen to record. So an encounter needs to happen. Now, let's think we need to provide them with a way to assess that this video is, I don't know, geolocated. I need to be certain that the policeman won't delete the video after the fact if they really mess up. So I need to provide some sort of hardware, some sort of structure to own that video. So it's not just that they need the encounter to happen, but they need to use when the encounter starts, you need to use my right? Yeah, it's actually part of this, right? So it's not just the system to record should be on my software, but for that, probably need to download the software. So let's start thinking, how can we optimize this? It's quite simple. It doesn't have much steps, but there is some solution. There is no real need to download or register, right? Right now, you can get a web page to record, so you don't have to have anything installed in your phone. So, and also once you have the video, you can ask the user to register, or you can geolocate the fine to the officer, right? So we can do this. Now let's think of what are the reasons. Well, let's think what are the barriers to this to happen, right? So there is no real barrier here. The encounter will happen, and it's not the citizen that will provide. So I'm not worried about that. I'm really worried about this. And there are two things that are important here. We already discussed that it's quite simple. Just you go to a web page and record something. So it's not an ability problem, but it is a problem. It's not an ability problem, but it's a problem of both triggering and motivation. And as we already know, triggering problems are bigger and more important than motivation, because if I don't even consider that I have the chances of doing something, I won't do it. So let's treat trigger first. How can I solve the problem of citizen remembering that they have to record this meeting and understanding they have to record this meeting? Well, one simple way is using the government property. So you have a patrol car. You can plot it and put a big QR code that says, it's safe to record this. Please use this link. Or record your interventions for your security, and then we can tap on that security status quo, right? So if I'm really motivated to start this recording, the bribe won't happen. The officer won't ask for a bribe, right? Now let's think it the other way around. Why would I, if I want to save the money and I'm willing to risk it to offer the officer a bribe, why would I record this? Well, we need to manufacture something there. So for the government, let's say that 10% of the bribes are actually, 10% of the fines are being bribed. So that is a loss. So for me, it's the same just to give a discount of 10% of every fine that was recorded. And I'm right now winning a lot because my officers cannot fall. They don't have the temptation to fall into bribery. Let's say I don't want to go that far. I can do a lottery. Every 100 fines that get reported at random, one gets dropped. You get the fine, but you don't get to pay. I hope I gave you some idea of how reframing and using just these three big little models, we do big analysis with a lot of nodes here and actually a lot of behaviors in the middle. Here you have the bureaucracy that we didn't consider, the third party that took off. The government is not just one thing. The officers might be different. I just talked about a traffic stop, and there are a lot of types of bribery. But I wanted to show you how this methodology works and how can it help you think of different angles that help you align the way that the different actors behave, right? Because it's not about forcing someone to do something they don't want to, but actually create a system of those who want to do stuff. Those that get value actually shifting things for others, right? Now the officer gets to use a QR code on their shoulder, right? And their patrol will get plotted with a QR code and with big letters saying, "Hey, it's safe to do this," and it's not their decision. But at the same time, they are not getting tempted to ask for bribes or to receive bribes, right? Because then there is a system in place that makes use of the motivation of the government and the citizen to prevent this behavior. Two things. First, if you want to consider this sort of solutions with your business and not necessarily in public policy. And the second thing I want to tell is, if by any chance you are in government and you're interested in this solution, feel free to contact me and we can expand on this. And I can even, the software for this is quite simple, so I can even help you create it, and we can go further. I hope that this solution gets, even though I just did it as an example, I do believe that this is a solution that is better than the solutions that are out there. So if anyone can get it to the general public, it will be amazing. And well, I hope that this helped clarify what we do at Ingenious Behavior.